Okay, so for this activity, we will be focusing on word problems, specifically finding the area. So you're going to take what you learned yesterday and combine it with your background knowledge of word problems and squish it all together, and it will work beautifully for this assignment today. So we're going to walk through a couple together that will look a lot like what you will be doing on your own in a few minutes. So first, let's read the word problem and do our cubes as we walk through it. So a bedroom door is 3 feet wide and 7 feet tall. What is the area? Question mark. So I circled my numbers, I underlined my question, I'm going to box in my keywords. So I know that they're asking me for the area, so I'm going to box that in. I know that it's 3 feet wide and 7 feet tall. So I'm going to box in those words so I can make sure that I put them where they need to go for my array. So let's review what the formula for area is. So area equals length times width. And remember, length is what? Is it how many rows or how many columns? Length is how long it is, and those are our what? Rows. So how many rows do I have is going to be the length, and how many columns do I have will be the width. So let's go back into our word problem. It says the door is 3 feet wide, so that's going to go for what? My rows or columns? Right, columns. How many rows am I going to need? So 7 feet tall. Tall is how long it is, or our rows. So now that I've filled in how many rows and how many columns, I can go fill in my array. So I'm going to go down 7 because that's how long it is. And I'm going to go across 3 columns because that's how wide it is. Remember, I already have 1, so I only need to fill in 2 more. So 1, 2, 3. Now to complete this area model, I need to finish filling in the rest of my rectangle. So I'm not going to go across anymore because I know that I only need to go 3 feet wide. And I've already filled in those units. So to solve this, I'm going to do 7 times 3 to get my area. I can count up all of these square units, or I can do repeated addition with adding up 3 7 times. Or I can make 7 groups of 3 and put those 3 dots into each of those groups and count up all my dots. But since you've already filled this in, you can just count up those square units. And if you do that, you'll see what you get. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So the area of this bedroom door is 21 square, and our units are feet. So let's try one more. All right, so looking at this one, first we need to read our word problem and do our cubes. So Joe's sandbox has sides that are 6 feet long and 5 feet wide. What is the sandbox's area? So I circled my numbers 6 and 5. I underline my question, what's the sandbox's area? Now I'm going to box in keywords. So what's the question asking me for? Area. So I'm going to box that in. I also know that it's 6 feet long. So I'm going to box that in, if I can get my marker to work. And 5 feet wide. Those are important words, so I'm going to box that in. Next, I'm going to answer these questions below because they will help me fill in my array. So how many rows? Well, first let's refresh ourselves on what rows mean. So if I look over here, my formula is area equals length times width. I know that the length is how long it is, and that also represents my rows, and width is how wide it is, which also represents my columns on my array. So I'm going to do rows times columns to get my area. So length, let's look up into our word problem. How many rows? How long is it? 6 feet. Columns, how wide it is. So let's go see how wide it is. It is 5 feet wide. So now that I've filled those questions in, I can go fill in my array. So first, let's look at our rows. We're going to go down 6 units. So 6 units long. Oh, man, I need more markers, people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 units long. And how many units wide? 5 columns. So 5. I'm going to include this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now to complete this area, I have to fill in the rest of my rectangle. So I'm going to continue going that many across and up that many long and just fill in the rest of this rectangle. Okay, so to solve my formula, area equals length times width, I can put 6 times 5 equals, and to solve my area, I can add up all of these square units, or I can do repeated addition. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. Or I can make 6 groups and put 5 dots in each and count up all those dots. But these are really your 6 groups of 5. So you can just count all these up or do repeated addition. I'm going to count by 5s 6 times. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. But you would have got that same answer if you would have added up all your square units that you colored in. So 6 times 5 is 30, and then I have square, and my units are feet. Goodness. Okay, so this is exactly what your activity is going to look like today. You need to complete your cubes first with probably the pencil tool or the highlighter tool. I'm okay with either. And then you need to use the T tool to type in how many rows, remember that's how long, and how many columns, which is how wide. You also need to use the T tool to fill in your multiplication sentence. And then I would use the highlighting tool to fill in your area model. And then I would use the T tool to type in what your area is. And you'll get that by, remember, adding up all the square units, which is really just repeated addition, or you can do multiplication. So pick which strategy works best for you. Just make sure that you do step 1, your cubes. Step 2, fill in the rows and columns. Step 3, write your multiplication sentence. Step 4, fill in your array based off your rows and columns with your highlighter tool. And step 5, solve. So once you've done all those steps, double check your work and then click the green submit button. If you have any questions, just let me know, guys.